My name is Lyndal Anthony. I am the current president of the Harry Nohr Woodturners Club in Platteville, Wisconsin. I'm also a lab manager here at the university, although when I joined the club, I was a shop teacher in East Dubuque, Illinois. I'm going to start off a little bit by explaining how the bowls are made. And this is something that Harry Nohr would have actually done also. Would have taken a piece of wood not unlike this, and this is the tall part of the tree, the side of the tree, and this is how traditional bowls are made. So he would have cut this out, and then he would have went over to his bandsaw and he would have cut out this round blank. And this would have been all out of green wood. Then he coated it with a wax-like material and wrapped it in newspaper. I've got several bowl blanks that we have determined were cut and prepared by Harry Nohr. We can figure that out because the newspaper that he used to help seal it has the date prior to his death on it. He donated a lot of bowl blanks to the university here, and they're in storage in the basement of the art building, and they're kept in a humidity controlled environment so they'll stay dry. From there, Harry would take the bowl blank and mount it to a faceplate, very much like this one, screw it on, and he would probably have turned the outside of the bowl. There's several ways of doing this. One method is doing it between centers, but I'm going to use the way that I do it because it's a little bit more modern, a little more familiar to me since I'm going to be doing this. But I'd screw it to this faceplate, and I will spin the wood in the lathe, and I will turn the outside of the bowl, and then I'm going to put what's called a tenon. What the tenon does is allow me to mount it in a chuck, which is mounted in the headstock of the machine. I have not had the opportunity to see any video or anything of Harry doing bowls, so I can only assume that he used the traditional way. He would mount a waste block on this part of the bowl with glue and newspaper or some sort of paper, and that would hold it while he's turning the inside. That again, he would mount to the faceplate and then do the inside of the bowl. By using a chuck, it allows me just to turn this around, and it runs very true, and I can quickly and easily go from the outside to the inside to finish turn. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set up this part of the lathe. It's called the banjo, and I am going to prepare the end of the bowl blank here. I'm going to put the tenon on it. So I'm going to rough shape it and then put the tenon on it. And there we have the rough outside bowl shape. And this actually appears to be a piece of catalpa. The catalpa is the tree that's got the long bean-shaped pods on it. It's very pretty wood, very lightweight. When the wood dries, it dries more one way than the other way, so oftentimes this bowl blank will be oval shaped when we start to turn it. Now I've got it pretty much round. I'm going to put the tenon on the end of it, and I use a tool called a scraper, but it's shaped just a little bit differently. It's a V-shaped scraper, so I can actually put the tenon on there. Now that I've got the tenon on there, I'm going to finish the outside shape. I'm going to try a little different tool. I have a variety of these tools. They all work just basically the same, but might cut just a little bit differently. I'm stopping here to show you the difference. With this tool turned just the right way, I have very little turnout where I got a lot, or tear out. I've got a lot of tear out over here. So I'm getting rid of that and getting a pretty smooth surface right there. So I'm going to add a little detail to this that will give it a little bit of a shadow line. And I use that with, it's actually called a spindle gouge, and it's actually designed for a little different cut on a different orientation of the wood. This orientation is vertical. This is designed for the grain of the wood being horizontal with the bed of the machine, but it does a real nice job. So now I'm going to get rid of a lot of the excess in the middle, just using this. I took a workshop from a lady that's a professional wood turner. Her name is Betty Scarpino. And she said that when she started wood turning, that she was learning from a guy that had made bowls for years and years and years. And he says, my best piece of advice for you is to never make the inside of the bowl bigger than the outside, which wood turners do on occasion, and then we call it a funnel, because there's a hole in the bottom of the bowl. So, with that done, we should have our basic bowl shape done. This was a production Delta lathe, and if we look down here, you'll see a bunch of pulleys and belts on it. And what that was for, this originally came with a motor with one pulley on it just like this. Well, that one pulley would give it 4 speeds. And for doing bowls, the lathe actually, even at the lowest speed, turned faster than it should have. This was designed to make table legs and baseball bats and stuff like that, stuff that was smaller in diameter. Bigger in diameter, the surface speed around the circumference is a lot greater, so even at the slowest speed, this would be too fast. So what Harry did was got a different motor and mounted on it, gave him 2 things. With this motor, he could actually reverse the rotation, so it would run forward or reverse. And then by adding the extra pulleys and jack shaft down here, now he had a wider range of gears. So he could turn it down real slow up to its full speed, but it gave him a lot more flexibility. One picture in the art building shows Harry on this end of the lathe, and he has a bowl, large bowl, mounted on this end of the lathe, and he's turning on that. something that size, you would have to turn a lot slower than this was designed to do. So the lathe itself with the extra boards in here, that's all Harry's design and works very well.